Today, I want to share with you the secret of physical health. Do you know the secret of physical health? It's that everybody's different, of course, as we've been saying. The idea is, though, that this is one part of who we are. This is the physical field of life. And there are basically three main physical types. There is the person who has a faster metabolism. There's a person who has a slower metabolism. And then there is the person who is kind of mixed or possibly in the middle. You know you have a faster metabolism if you eat a meal and an hour later you're hungry again. Or an hour and a half later you're hungry again. Or 30 minutes later you're hungry again. You know you have a slower metabolism when you eat a meal and you feel good from that meal, and that lasts you for quite a while. Could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours even. You also know you have a faster metabolism if you do well with a high protein diet. And you don't do so well with a high carbohydrate diet. And then you know you have a slower metabolism when you feel much better with a high complex carbohydrate diet. That would be mostly vegetables and whole grains and fruit with low consumption of protein and fat. And if you can't figure those things out, you may be in the middle, you may be mixed. So we have these faster people with faster metabolisms. We call them the catabolic types. We have slower people with more sluggish metabolisms. We call them the anabolic type. And we have people who are mixed. Now, these types, these metabolisms, break down into certain qualities. So we can get even more specific with your physical health by finding out what quality your body goes out of balance in. This is given to you from birth, just like all of these personalities that you have in these different fields of life. So you're going to have this physical personality in the way your body expresses symptoms. When you get stressed by anything, when you get stressed by stress anywhere in the other parts of your life, relationships or career, you're going to express that stress in your physical health. Your physical quality is going to get triggered. So the qualities are very simple. They're called heat, cold, light, heavy, dry, and oily. Now, some of you who have studied Ayurveda may have heard the terms Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These are all qualities of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, but they're much easier to understand because they're words we understand, rather than going so much into Vata, Pitta, and Kapha today, which are some words that we may not understand. So, much easier to think about these qualities of heat, cold, light, heavy, dry, and oily. And that's what we're going to do now. So, in terms of imbalances then, let's look at this disease of heat, or the imbalance of heat. Now, if you have this, your heart can get affected, and also your small intestine energy, and also the bone tissue in the body. But basically it means that inflammation can build up in your system. And how do you counter that inflammation? You counter that, or the tendency toward it anyway, you counter that with a high protein, moderate fat, low complex carbohydrate diet. And you counter it with also cooling foods like salads and leafy green vegetables and some raw food. And you can also counter it with cooling exercise and cooling yoga. Not so much yoga where you go in a room and they heat it up to 100 degrees and you're sweating and like that. No, this person needs to do cooling things, and they need protein. This person does not do so well as a vegetarian. They really need animal protein in their diet. It is essential for them, for their energy, for their mental energy, physical energy, etc. Who can be more easily vegetarian? The next type, which is the cold type. Coldness affects the brain, and it affects the blood tissue in the body. So these people get cold easily. They could have memory problems or even brain freeze. You've heard that term. They can also have blood-related disorders. And how do you balance someone who's cold? Well, you warm them up. Warming foods, cooked food mostly. Raw food does not work for them, even though the raw foods diet is a good one for some people. It doesn't work for somebody with coldness. And they do well without dairy products too. So they need a high complex carbohydrate, low fat, low protein diet. They don't need animal protein in their diet. They do well as vegetarian. Somebody with this light quality, the next one, feels ungrounded very often. They feel out of their bodies. Their gallbladder gets affected. Their nervous system is very hyper and tense and all wound up. And they can feel spacey and lightheaded and like that. How do you balance them? Well, they need grounding, nourishing, right? Protein, high protein diet, moderate fat, low complex carbohydrates works the best for them. They do need animal protein. And they need nourishing forms of exercise, not overdoing it where they're going to break their body down even more, but they need nourishment. Somebody with the heavy type, the liver gets affected and the fat tissue gets affected. So liver problems, sometimes weight problems, problems with just feeling sluggish and fatigued and heavy and congested like that. What do they need to balance? They need light quality. They need a stimulation for the body. So they need stimulating foods, especially foods with a bitter taste. Lots of leafy green vegetables. So for them it's high complex carbohydrates, low fat, low protein. Another person who can be easily vegetarian. And they need lots and lots of exercise. They really need to move. If they don't move their bodies, they feel depressed and tired. So they really need the exercise. Somebody with this dry quality, the stomach and the spleen and the muscles get affected. The muscles get really tense and tight. And they can have problems with constipation and dry skin and cramping all over. All the muscles can cramp very easily. Even the stomach can cramp. So they need lubrication. They need oil externally. They need a high fat, high protein, low complex carbohydrate diet. And they need nice gentle stretching with yoga. Nothing too extreme. Then we have the oily type. The oily type affects the kidneys and the bladder and the reproductive tissue in the body. They can have blood sugar problems, they can have urinary tract infections, thyroid problems, fibroid tumors, cysts, prostate problems for men. What do they need? They need a low fat, very low fat, low protein, high complex carbohydrate diet. Lots of leafy green vegetables, low dairy consumption. These people again can be very easily vegetarian. And with yoga they need structure, they need form. Their joints tend to be too loose, so if they do too much stretching they're going to overextend and cause problems that way. Then we have a couple of mixed types as well. One of the mixed types affects the lungs and the large intestine and the lymphatic tissue. These people also need to move their bodies and keep their lymph flowing with exercise, with lymphatic massage, etc. The mixed types take a little bit more time to talk about, so we don't have that much time today to go into that. There's one more type though, which is also mixed, but we call it karmic. And this karmic type means that this person has strange, unusual symptoms that are playing out in their physical bodies because of some past life energies, past life experiences that they've had that they now have to experience in this lifetime through their physical health. So, to read more about this information that I was speaking about today, please read the book Ayurveda Revolutionized by Edward Tarabilda. And you can also go to my website, ayurvedayogainstitute.com, and read more information about all of what we've been speaking about, and also about how to find out your own type, so that you know how to eat for you, and you know how to exercise for you, and you know what kind of lifestyle is going to be best for your physical body.